Hello, Ross Sharp here with another episode of Aeronautica. The North American T-28 Trojan at the end of a road trip. Sometimes, if you are a former museum professional and you are on a road trip, you push yourself hard. Just that one more museum, that last gallery, that rare object, and you end up extending yourself until exhaustion sets in. My good friend David Lee, formerly with the Imperial War Museum, Duxford, and I were like that when we arrived at Battleship Cove, Fall River, Massachusetts. For David, this was the last leg of a round-the-world tour of aviation museums. Before I delivered him to Logan Airport, we had just this one museum to visit. We were certainly not disappointed by any means. Although the main focus of Battleship Cove remains the impressive fleet of assorted warships, there was still plenty to satisfy two aviation specialists. Here we can see a very nicely preserved North American T-28C, which has been placed on a platform close to the Charles M. Braga Jr. Memorial Bridge over the Taunton River. Originally, the North American T-28 was designed to fulfill a United States Air Force requirement for a new basic trainer to replace the venerable T-6 Harvard SNJ family of aircraft from the same company. The new conventional low-wing monocoque aircraft with retractable nose-wheel undercarriage was powered by a 7-cylinder Wright R1300-1, producing 800 horsepower and driving a two-bladed propeller. Full-scale production started in 1950, just as the Korean War broke out, and the new trainer was taken into United States Air Force service as the T-28 Trojan. During the Korean War, a new policy of standardization was agreed between the United States Navy and the United States Air Force in an attempt to speed production and induce economies of scale. Consequently, the Navy issued changes to suit its own operational requirements for the new trainer. A 9-cylinder Wright R1820 radial drove a 3-bladed Hamilton Standard constant speed propeller, and for the first time there was a gun sight and gun camera fitted, and a full range of underwing stores, including gun pods, could be carried. Further changes, including the strengthening of the rear fuselage and incorporation of an arrestor gear, allowed another version, the T-28C, to be used by the Navy for the important task of the carrier qualification of pilots. The extra power from the big Wright radial gave an impressive increase in maximum speed, from 285 miles per hour in the T-28A to 346 miles per hour in the T-28C. When production of the T-28 finally ended in the autumn of 1957, no less than 1,948 had been built. Other specialized versions of the T-28 were converted from surplus airframes, and the best known of these was the T-28S Fennec, modified and used by the French Air Force in their colonial wars in Africa, and the T-28D Nomad, modified to a specification created by the United States Air Force's Special Air Warfare Center for the COIN counterinsurgency role, and used by the United States Air Force and the South Vietnamese Air Force during the Vietnam War. The T-28D aircraft were usually operated as single-seaters in the light attack role. A true attack version of the T-28 was modified by the Fairchild Company as the Fairchild AT-28D. 72 of these were produced and flew missions in Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War. The T-28C you can see here is painted as USN 137765, a machine assigned to Training Squadron 27, VT-27, also known as the Boomers, a unit whose job included the carrier qualification of new USN aviators. Other markings indicate that the unit was based at Naval Air Station Pensacola, a base which has trained many thousands of naval aviators, including Fleet Air Arm trainees during World War II. If you look closely, you will see that there are the names of two pilots inscribed beneath the two cockpits. The rear cockpit bears the name of Commander Link Mossop. Commander Lincoln Mossop Jr., United States Naval Reserve, retired, class of 1956, at the U.S. Naval College, was a prominent supporter of the Naval Aviation Museum, NAS Pensacola, and was also one of the very first corporators of Battleship Cove, Fall River. The name beneath the front cockpit is that of Captain Thomas Hudner, MOH, United States Navy retired, who won the Medal of Honor flying an F-4U Corsair in Korea, when he crash-landed his aircraft alongside the blazing wreck of a Corsair behind enemy lines and tried to rescue another member of his squadron. Captain Hudner was a native of Fall River, Massachusetts. The T-28 might have been conceived to undertake the mundane task of the basic training of pilots, but it emerged as an important counter-insurgency aircraft in 2 major wars and countless other skirmishes. For the T-28 Phoenix were sold on by France to countries such as Argentina, and they were also used by Morocco, Uruguay, and the Philippines. Today, you can still see T-28s as worthy warbird performers at air shows in the United States and throughout Europe. Just in case you might be willing to dismiss the T-28 as a staid performer, when the Phoenix were withdrawn to metropolitan France after the Algerian War was over in 1962, they were issued to training and second-line defence units, and it is a matter of record that a Fennec claimed a kill on an opposing Dassault Mirage 3C during air exercise Carte Blanche in 1963, and had the gun camera footage to prove it.